This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel and get in touch with me if you have an immigration problem. Well, some more failures by the government. This time the government's attempt to shore up the broken asylum system were further undermined when it appeared that Priti Patel was forced to admit that the Home Office had not found proper housing for refugees brought from Afghanistan last year. In fact, the government has been forced to admit that they spend nearly £5 million a day on housing asylum seekers in hotels. That's a lot, but it's 4 times more than what the government had previously stated. Not only is it costing a huge amount of money to house people in such accommodation, campaigners have consistently warned that aside from the cost, hotels are inappropriate places to house families long term, particularly those with young children who've been through a traumatic experience. When put on the spot, as it were, the Home Office tried to dodge the issue of how much it was costing by stating that the cost was only 1.2 million a day, but that only covered those 12,000 rescued from Kabul in those terrible times. When you add in the other 25,000 Afghan asylum seekers, the cost shoots up by more than 3.5 million, something the government weren't overly keen on exposing. However, in a rare admission, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, admitted this week that the government was absolutely struggling to find accommodation for the 12,000 people from Afghan who remain in hotels almost 6 months after being evacuated last August. Only 4,000 of those people have found permanent homes, but the Home Secretary said officials were desperately trying to find alternative housing for the rest. In a further admission of her department's failure and the government's handling of the asylum system, she went on to admit, "We do not have the infrastructure in terms of housing and accommodation," she said. "We do not want people in hotels," she added. "We should not be housing people in hotels." Well, a lot of people have been concerned about people being housed in hotels for long periods of time, but it's rare that the Home Secretary would actually come forward and admit it. What this does show is that the Home Office, while talking tough on migrants, has not made any plans, let alone any progress, to secure a longer-term home for refugees, and there's quite a few in the country. When pushed, the Home Office blames councils and says, they're not making their properties available, they're not offering us properties. However, the councils then blame the Home Office for failing, who have accommodation, for failing to allocate the home offered to them, which has led to the worst of all worlds. Empty houses which could house asylum seekers, and full hotels that cost the government and the taxpayer a lot of money. Having looked at the new immigration bill, which is supposed to rectify the broken asylum system broken under this government, other than wishing refugees would go away and criminalising them or trying to push them back by boats and jet skis and other James Bond style activity, there doesn't seem to be any substance as to how they're going to actually house or deal with the genuine refugees that the government say they want to protect. Something needs to be done, but this government seems completely incapable of doing it. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please stay safe during the pandemic. If you have any immigration problem whatsoever, please get in touch with me. Thank you again for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.